Hello everyone, this is Godzilla Wolf 1 and I am back with another Angels with Scaly Wings live stream, and we should be able to get one of Bryce's endings tonight. I don't know which one. We might also get Remy's ending. I'm not sure if it will be the good ending or the bad ending for either of them. I don't remember. I do remember that Bryce, with Bryce's ending, will probably get the most explicit thing in the entire game. Like, the most, obviously sexual thing. Just forewarning you on that. It's not that bad. It's not bad. It's just suggestive. But I'm just warning you ahead of time. Partially so, YouTube. But anyway, I will message this out. But I did get, we didn't do Dragonlance this week because there was a, what was I trying to say? Because the DM had to take the week off. So instead I did a, the new one-shot that Wizards of the Coast released, Giants of Starforge. It didn't actually end up being a one-shot. We were about to enter the final boss battle, but we had to stop. Yeah, it was fun. Two of the players decided to be the token evil teammates, being Metphys and one of the Bello Saludo from the Godzilla anime trilogy. Kind of more played for laughs. And they might end up their characters might end up becoming the BBEGs of a follow-up. Being evil characters can work so long as you put them in a position where they're inclined to help the party, and the party can have fun with it. In this case, the party just had a lot of fun just not trusting these guys at all. Like, it actually played into it because the one of them was an artificer and tried to cast aid on the party, but presented it in the most over-the-top evil way they could, like mad scientist evil way they could, and the party was just like, yeah, no. It would have helped, but at the same time, when you're dealing with your token evil teammate, would you trust them? Especially when they say that they're going to inject you with nanometal. Like, I don't think most people would trust that. Also, I screwed up the title again. I don't even know how I did that. Let me fix that. But yeah, I don't know how you do that. But yeah, it was fun, and we just rolled with them being the token evil teammate. And last we left off, they were about... Also, we had some fun with the... if you've not seen the anime trilogy, yeah, there's a reason people don't like the anime trilogy. Metphys is kind of this evil cult leader. So they had a lot of fun with his overly dramatic speeches. and that was fun. But it all ended with them about to get into a three-way brawl between them, a red dragon, and a really huge giant, fire giant, who is the BBEG. Like, we left on them about to have a three-way melee with these two big enemies. Like, I'm not making them fight this really powerful fire giant and a red dragon at the same time. It's basically going to be them versus the red dragon versus the BBEG. Because the red dragon hates everyone. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to start with this here, which is Bryce's third date. This is the file we're going to continue Remy's, because I didn't feel good, kind of in a way, two-timing Remy and Bryce. I didn't feel like doing that. We resumed our positions in a circle around the glowing stones, and I waited for my meal to cool down while the others started eating. Yep, crisp and smoky. Good job, Sebastian. Don't mention it. Really, it's good. Still not sure how you can eat that cheese stuff, Zong. Are you gonna make fun of my food choices again? To be fair, we make fun of everyone and everything here. I don't mind the cheese. You mind eating a whole bed of stones and everything on it as well. At least I try something different once in a while. I do too. I think there are at least 5 different kinds of meat this time around. Case in point. Remaining on the stone slowly disappeared as everyone got their additional helping. Soon even the last piece was gone and silence started to set in as the banter slowly died down. I think it's time for me to leave. What, already? Hey, the babysitter can only stay so long. Oh well. Yeah, I should be heading off too. You know, I'm starting early tomorrow. Well, I guess we all got what we came for. What about you, Maverick? Like this party is over anyway. Don't get lost in the dark then. Of course. And until next year. Thanks for inviting me, Bryce. Suppose I should be heading off as well. Oh, no you don't. What are you talking about? Well, they all live in the vicinity, but your apartment's on the other side of town. I'm not letting you go home alone at this hour. It's always operated at night, and he may be waiting for an opportunity like this. What do you want me to do then? You can sleep over at my place, if you insist. Beep, now everyone left without cleaning up. At least you're still here without me, of course. Also, let me actually check the status screen. Okay, Remy is still gone. I don't know why Remy's not there, but we do see that, but Anna's is gone, and I'm neutral with most of them. But with the amount of trash left by 5 people, it was clear it would take a while. Hey, do you want to know how I got these scars? I bet you're curious. Okay, what scars? I never even noticed. Not if you're uncomfortable with telling me, go right ahead. Let's be the kind guy. It's no trouble, gotta pass the time somehow. At least it made me look extra intimidating at my job. No one's gonna mess with the big rugged chief of police. You probably think I got him from some crazy near-death case, but that's only true for one of them. The other was a completely different story. Back when I was a kid, some of my friends and I always used to play outside and go adventuring together, as kids are wont to do. We could go anywhere as long as it was close to town. Woods, mountain, beaches, we loved to explore every one of them. We got fairly familiar with our surroundings. Today we heard from someone that there was a system of caves nearby. Caves, that was something completely new to us. Of course we went there as soon as we could. Oh, this reminds me in that I had to use a DM PC for the for the Giants of Starforge, because they didn't have a tank. Like, they didn't have a big frontline melee fighter, really. So I ended up being a barbarian, and I actually based him off of Bryce. One day we heard from some... Okay, I already read that. All very excited. It wasn't a big cave system, not big enough to get lost in, but we still had so much fun that day. Much in fact, I wanted to go back there right away. Next day I called a few friends, but they had a longer school day than I did. Waiting for them, I decided to go alone. Turns out going exploring on my own was a little less exciting than doing so with friends, but I still had a pretty good time. Just walking through the underground system was quite an experience. Plus, since I was alone, I could take time to explore every last nook and cranny that I wanted to. Maybe that was my mistake. When it was in one of the remote corners, the ground suddenly gave way, fell about 5 meters into the cave below. I didn't get any serious injuries from the fall, but as I looked for another exit, I think almost realization set in. The cave had no entry or exit except the one I came in. There were a few holes, but I could never fit through any of them or make them bigger in any way. If I could, I didn't know where they'd lead. Then I had to try and climb out on my own. As you can imagine, I wasn't exactly the best climber in town. Even so, I still got about halfway before I lost my grip and fell down again, cutting my muzzle on the edge of a rock in the process. It bled pretty badly, but at least I knew how to put pressure on the wound. I couldn't climb out again, however, so I waited. Yeah, at this point, this is kind of surreal because we've never, up until this point, actually seen Bryce really helpless in any situation. It took several hours for anyone to even notice I was missing. Must have been about 4 or 5 hours all alone before I heard footsteps above and a search party found me. Long story short, it turns out that besides the cave system we knew about, there was a much larger one right underneath. Those caves can only be entered with a guide now. But this lovely reminder of the experience on my muzzle. I had plenty of time to think while I was down there, and later in life I often returned to that experience. At first it made me want to get stronger, but I realized that strength alone wouldn't have saved me. Our kind will probably never be able to climb much at all, but I can at least try to better myself. I guess experience also explains why I'm building those stupid wooden models now. Feeling so helpless while I waited down there, it made me realize I wanted to help others. Having been saved by police sure did a lot to make me want to follow the same path. Turns out I was good enough to even become chief. Guess that's all of the trash. Thanks for the help. And that is why I respect Bryce. Yeah, Bryce is one of the character in fiction that I genuinely respect. Suppose I'll have to tell you about the other scar some other time. Let's get back now, shall we? Sure. Looks like it's already later than I thought. We better head to sleep soon. Alright, he may know something about the map I wanted. Let's just ask him. Before I forget, there was something I wanted to ask you about. Sure, what is it? It's about the underground building you found. Right, we can't have any visitors. There's a moment we've probably shown you the place by now. That should tell you to look at the stuff we have about it in the archive. He did, but I didn't get around to check it out yet. Maybe you can do it some other time. Should really get sleep now, though. You can take the couch. I'll just sleep on the floor or something. Don't you have a bed? Oh, this is just a temporary arrangement. I wanted to be closer to work, and the new apartment wasn't ready yet, so I had to stay here a while. I see. All the armor, I can barely feel anything, so it doesn't matter where I sleep. I mean for you to sleep on the floor. What do you mean? Okay, what should I do? Let's go with this. The couch is big enough for both. It is, but I didn't know if you... Well, if you say so. There's your bed, Your Highness. I'll take care of the light. I mean, this is a romantic one, so I don't mind this. And plus, I think of a lot of this, I think Bryce and the protagonist have the closest, have a really close rapport with each other, so I can see this happening. There we go. Are you going to sleep in those clothes of yours? It looks kind of uncomfortable. We usually have a separate set of clothing to wear it. In the night, or we just take off a few layers. I see. Well, you could take a layer off, except this little blanket here. Take a layer off except these blankets here. Wait for you to sleep like this? Yeah. Well, good night then. Good night, Bryce. I mean, okay, in this situation, it's not very romantic, but it looks like I have some free time today. Okay. Let's actually deal with I cannot pronounce this guy's name. The Ice Cream Dragon. Let's help the Ice Cream Dragon. There you are. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find you from the description you gave me. Well, this corner is where I do business. You could ask anyone and they would have told you where to find me. I see. You like for your ice cream? Well, what do you have to offer? What do I have to offer? As the main dish, I have ice cream, gelato, frozen yogurt, frozen custard, soft serve, sorbet, just popsicles, melurine, sorbet, cold taffy, snow cones, and hollow. Alright. For the sides, I can offer you waffles, sticks, pretzels, cups, wafer cones, cake cones, sugar cones, chocolate-coated cones, and double cones, or vanilla cones. So a lot of variety you have. Even got started on the toppings. Now you know why I have to keep dragging the big cart everywhere. Excuse me? I'm sorry, but we're closed. You don't look closed, but we are. You want to buy an ice cream, though, please? It's really hot and I'll pay you twice as much. Sorry, we're closed. Please tell me when you're going to be open. When I feel like it, now off you go. But, they just clawed dismissively. Off you go. Jeez, whatever, I'll just go and jump into a lake or something. Why did you come here when you're closed? Just my spot. It has been for a long time. I'll open for those pesky customers later. Now I have a guest to entertain. I see. How long have you been doing this? I've been in business for over 40 years now. Oh wow. See this, you see, I'm this town's only real ice cream vendor. Sure, you could go to the store and buy any pre-made ice cream nowadays, but it's just not the same. Customers know that, and they love my ice cream. Of course, I don't just sell it. I do ice cream parties and catering. Ice cream parties? Only for very special occasions. The town's supposed to really like your ice cream, then. Oh yes, business has been wonderful for decades. Lately, though, everything seems to be going down. Why is that? Every day the customers find their way to me. I don't sell everything. Things start to spoil and I have to throw them away. I never had to do that before. If it keeps going like this for much longer, I might have to face the reality of bankruptcy. I was planning to retire in a few years, but I can't. Not like this. It wouldn't be nearly as bad if I hadn't also lost all my savings recently. Oh no, what happened? Well, I happen to be an avid player of a game called Mahjong, and just as it so happens, sometimes people play it for money too. It's all your life savings by gambling. That's the funny thing about gambling. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you win big, and sometimes you lose all your savings. That's just how it goes. I see. And how did you decide to become an ice cream vendor anyway? I have quite a history, human, so I hope you're prepared. I'm an ambassador, so if you have a story to tell, I'll listen. As you wish. I have very fond memories of my childhood. When I was little, we had a confectioner in town. We offered all kinds of specialties, from cookies to sweets to cakes and chocolate. The owner was a kind old dragoness who made everything that was sold in her shop with her own claws. It was always good, but if it was her ice cream that was truly exceptional. Even as a small child, I could always taste the difference. My parents didn't care and proclaimed one ice cream as good as the next. As I grew, I came to a fundamental understanding about people. Those who are content with the lowest common denominator, and those, like me, who could appreciate the finer details in expertly crafted things. I talked with her when I heard her plans to retire to see if someone else was to continue running her shop or if she had taken an apprentice. But to my utter dismay, I learned it was not the case. You see, she was a kind, humble person who didn't think of herself or her wares as special in any way, so she never had felt the need to preserve them. If it was my intervention, her art would be lost forever. I begged and pleaded with her not to let this happen, but she insisted that I had vastly overestimated her skill. It was not until I ran out and brought her some of the store-bought pulp they dared to call ice cream that she gave in and agreed with me. Creator, she of course had never felt the need to buy some for herself when she could make her own, and after only eating her own wonderful ice cream for all these years, it had just become ordinary for her. She had never realized how exceptional it truly was. Even though she was already in retirement age at the time, she took me in as an apprentice to teach me the fine art of confectionery. I was her student for a few years and learned the basics of many recipes, but unfortunately she passed away to learn the secrets to her particular blend of ice cream. For the next couple of years I traveled from city to city trying to find her relatives or confectioners of similar caliber in order to find the last ingredients to her recipe. From my one disappointment to the next, I finally tracked down a distant nephew who remembered her from his own childhood. Her ice cream apparently was very popular with the family. He was very happy to hear that she was able to fulfill her dream of owning her own confectionery. He told me that the recipe was the confectioner's own and she had never divulged it to anyone else. I had to realize that this was a secret she had apparently taken with her to her grave. People tell me I surpassed her. What they don't know is that all the different recipes I use, all the varieties I offer, came to me when I tried to recreate her recipe. I never succeeded. Yeah, that's a bittersweet story. Just look at the number of different ice creams I sell. People tell me how impressive that is and how they are all wonderful. They think it makes me better than her, but she only ever sold a single flavor, a single variety. She never needed anything else because that one flavor was perfect. I can only ascribe my own success to what I learned from her. Of course, this corner is not the only place I sell ice cream. I do have spots in the surrounding villages, but even out there I can slowly see the influence of the cities taking over. Because nowadays people don't appreciate the art anymore. They only care that they can eat, and not about what they eat. They are too quick to settle for what they can get from the local supermarket. It's ugly mass-produced pulp. Some of those companies have approached me before. They wanted to buy my recipes, but I want them to ruin what I have by making it cheap and easy produced like the stuff they sell. My ice cream is only what it is because I still make it myself with my own two hands, the way it has always been and how it's going to be. You mentioned you were planning to retire a few years. What's going to happen then? Do you have any students who will take over the business afterwards? Dragon gave a big sigh. I wish. I've had a few students who wanted to learn the art, but they all gave up sooner or later. Why is that? Maybe forgetting that the recipe's art. Some steps require manual labor, and people don't expect the harsh conditions that come with the job. Many apply only because they know how successful I am or how much I sell on a hot day, but they don't see all the work that goes on behind the scenes. I see the same influence of the cities corrupting the youth today. They are lazy and seek instant gratification. They make the recipes easier and cut corners, but I won't stand to compromise on quality. Willing to learn, appreciate, and preserve the art, it will tell me there is no desire for my ice cream in this world anymore. Another cheap stuff, if that's all they want, I'd rather take my recipes to the grave and let the big companies have them. Grandson, who may be my last hope, unlike the others, he was always interested in not only eating my ice cream, but also learning what it took to make. And in a year or two, he'll be old enough to become my apprentice if he so desires. I'm not sure if his interest will still be present. Even if it is, I don't know if he will be brave enough to be able to brave the hardships that come with it, but I have hope. However, that is a talk for the future. I have much more pressing problems right now. Like what? This area used to be a popular spot for people to meet each other, but ever since Tetsu Park opened, it's not worth it to come to my corner anymore. The store is closer now. Maybe you shouldn't count on people seeking you out. You should try coming to the people instead. That's what the cart is usually for, right? You tried moving it somewhere else? Moving? Well, that's what the wheels are for, right? It's been my spot for the last 40 years. It's always worked out great for me. It's not working out so great right now. Maybe it's time for a change. Then raised a claw to his chin. His expression taught me that he was deep in thought. Guess I don't really have anything to lose at this point. What do you propose? See, I like the... And we'll do more of these optional ones later on. But this is what I really... this is what I really like about this game, is these don't influence the story at all. Like, these optional meetups with these other characters, they don't actually influence the plot at all. They don't give you anything that maybe maybe an achievement or a trophy. But they're still just opportunities to be kind. I like it when a game just gives you the opportunity to be a nice person. And that's just something I do appreciate with this game particularly, and one reason I like it as much as I do. Because it just gives you the chance to meet these random characters and just be nice to them. I'm not sure how I let you convince me to come here when this is the place that stole all my customers from me. I don't think that's the right way to look at it. The world's ever changing. You can't stop that. You have to find ways to deal with it, or you'll be left behind in the past. It's easy to just blame the change and be done with it. You shouldn't really be so quick to give up, you know. Customers know that the other corner's my spot. How are they going to find me? I think the people who buy some ice cream will spread the word. You think so? It's summer. There are tons of people around who'd like to buy an ice cream right now. Well, if you think you can sell ice cream better than me, then please go right ahead. What do you usually do? What do you mean? Well, what is your usual sales tactic? I don't need anything special. People always come to me. During my best time, they wait for my arrival in lines, and I'd be sold out in a few minutes. I see. That may have worked before, but these times called for different measures, I think. We set the cart up in one of the busier corners. Once it was ready, we only needed to get the word out. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream by the one and only Katsuharu here in Tetsu Park. Come get some while supplies last. It didn't take much to make people in the vicinity take notice. Those arrived quickly. Of course, everyone recognized Katsuharu and loved his ice cream, but they also committed him on his new location. They were attracted by me, the human that was generally under police protection, openly selling ice cream, gave people plenty of excuses to come over for a short chat. People were flocking to the cart as word got around of a human selling Katsuharu's legendary ice cream in Tetsu Park. Can I get one of these, please? Okay, just gray. Their name is just gray. I do like that design. Of course, one ice cream for my favorite art student. How did you know? I've seen you around. Besides, your accessories kind of give it away. Oh yeah, that's brush. Those are a bunch of brushes. I thought they were chisels at first. Anyway. Oh, okay. Lamius. I need some ice cream. My collars are dehydrated from working in the heat. Okay, they're a flyer. Okay, well, they're a Adine species. How many cups would you like? Let's make it 10. Alright, here you go. 10 cups plus one extra just for you. Thanks, I'll make it count. It was booming, but it wasn't until a certain person showed up that things were about to get serious. Well, this is interesting. Minister. What do you think you're doing here? Well, what does it look like? Looks like you're selling ice cream, and since I personally know Katsuharu, I know it is an exquisite ice cream at that. Not a bad guess. I don't want to tell you what to do, but if the Trade Commissioner finds out about this, I won't hear the end of it. He's blathering about unfair competition and abusers of your status. I wouldn't mind his complaints, you know, but since I'm in charge of your visit, it's all going to come back to me, and he's going to want an explanation. I was wanting to help Katsuharu, that's all. Help him? Is he in trouble? Alas, the human speaks the truth. Ever since the opening of Tetsu Park, my business has been plagued by drought and become forsaken like a desert. Well, it's not too hard to see why you kept staying at your whole spot on the other side of town. It was Dove's idea to come here. And it was a good one. You don't look like you're having much trouble here at all, my friend. Yes, I have to admit defeat on that front, but in hindsight, all successful ideas look like good ones. My friend, how come you never told me about any of this? I could have arranged something for you. I was sure you had more troubling issues yourself than taking care of a businessman who should be able to take care of himself. Well, I won't stand for this town's only ice cream vendor going out of business. This new location, I don't think you'll have any more trouble, but in order to resolve this little situation here right now, I think I'll have to go with a different solution. To sell some ice cream, Dove, then I'll just have to buy the rest of your inventory. You must be very hungry then, or very hot, maybe both. I'm sure the other employees in my building will appreciate a little something to combat the heat. Would you mind if I borrowed this cart for a while? Otherwise, I'm not sure how I would go about transporting it all safely. Not at all, just let me know when you retrieve it. Of course. Okay, now this is something I do like, is we've only really seen Amira's... Well, we've seen how Amira treats Remy. Like, we've seen that so far. But this kind of shows that, while that is the case, she's also got at least a few positive, like she's got positive traits. She's not just a one-note jerk. Well, that was interesting. This could have hardly turned out better for me. I can already feel the excitement of my glory days returning to these old bones of mine. Sounded like you two knew each other. Indeed, I've served her ice cream since the beginning of my career. Talk about a long-time customer. And a good one. I know she's not only enjoyed my ice cream out of tradition or necessity, but also out of an appreciation of the finer arts. Connoisseur like me. And she brought the whole inventory. Yes, but don't just see her as a big spender. She's a true patron of the arts. Do you like her? How dare you say something like that about her? She is a muse and inspiration. Her lifestyle embodies the philosophy of my art. And you ask if I like her? Pah. I see how it is. Anyway, I guess I should be thanking you for the help again. There's no need for that. I'd offer you some more ice cream, but I'm afraid we're all out for the day. Actually, I didn't even have one earlier. What? Yeah, the customer you didn't want to serve interrupted us, and now Amira took the rest with her. Oh, you're right. What a great shame. You sold all my stock, yet didn't get a chance to indulge in the luxury yourself. It's no big deal. You know you could come by next time I'm in town again. Now that you have saved my business, I'll let you eat all the ice cream you want. Thanks. Or maybe not all of it, or I might just go bankrupt again. You met with Katsura Haru. Okay, and now we are on to Chapter 4. We get lost. With my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper, a sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remember. Okay, now if I remember, yep, low rem is gone. Can't see Remy, unfortunately. I think he's still around. I hope diverting that did not cause something bad to happen to him. How many more times would I see this apartment before I return to my own world, or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Alright, we've already been here. Actually, no, I don't want to skip ahead because... Okay. Okay, I'm just seeing if there's any mention with Adine, because we're not as close with her in this timeline. Okay. Oh, that's the drop of blood from before. Wait. You stopped and waited for a few seconds. What do you want from me? Do you have something against humans in general, or is it just Reza and me? You think you are superior to us because of your wings and teeth and claw, your fire? Is it just jealousy or projected hate? I know the first day I met you were hung up on all the people paying attention to us because we are human. There's nothing to be jealous about. Our world is a wasteland. Close the door before you turn back around to face me. You really play the innocent role, aren't you? Now you're offering yourself as a bargaining chip for Reza. At this rate, even I might start to believe you if I didn't have a reason not to. If I were with Reza, it would have been much easier for me to pull a gun on you, too, the day you were shot. But I didn't even bring one when I came through the portal. Implausible deniability, or as we say, good cop, bad cop. If the plans fail, you and the rest of the humanity can disavow Reza's actions as his own and still go through with the trade as agreed, and Reza would be dealt with, however. Yet if Reza plans succeed, you will have given us nothing and still have gained what you wanted. If Reza got away, you'd still have me, though. Your world is a wasteland. Don't you think losing you is a price they would gladly pay? Made me think, did I really have a complete picture before I stepped through the portal? I guess that would explain why I got the job in the first place. Besides, Reza only stole things that humanity wants, so he's clearly not just doing this for himself. Only started out the confrontation with you, though. Maybe none of this was planned. You stupid. Do you think I've forgotten about the secret message he sent you? I still don't know what he would have told me that day if you hadn't interrupted us. He wanted to discuss his plans with you. Only after I found out about the secret message he sent you did I realize all the message between the portals could have been similar even before your arrival. When the police searched Reza's apartment, of course, none of these older letters could be found. Those did not have any secret messages. Is that so? None that I knew of, at least. When he sent me that secret message, I initially had no idea how to read it. You knew it was a secret message? Yes. But that's not true for the message he sent before you came through the portal. I don't think so. Those messages weren't intended for you, then. We're not that different, you know. What are you talking about? I reached into my pocket. I still have that. I don't know how long it's been. Pulled a wrinkled piece of paper and showed it to him. In these test results, humans and dragons show remarkable similarities for different species from different evolutionary lines and completely different worlds. Why do you think I care about it? Oh, that's from Anna's test results, which... Did we get those in this timeline? Yeah, okay, yeah, we did. It wouldn't make a beat difference to me if other dragons came through the portal instead of humans. The only one who followed Reza and knew something was off, but all of my concerns were swept away in the wind. I never thought it was never about you being humans. It was about people not hearing my pleas, the lenience they were willing to show you. It was just a relationship, but you two came here and strutted around like you owned the places as you tore my home apart. The blood of those who died is on the hands of everyone who allowed this to happen. Listen to me in the first place. Maybe I'd caught Reza that day, and day I was wounded, and things would look very different now. I agree. And why do you blame me for suspecting you? All this time, I've just been helping the police. So have I. Maybe they'll finally catch Reza, and we'll see how it turns out. Wait a minute, you had Anna perform these tests on you? It was more the other way around. She was the one who wanted to study my blood. And I'm not surprised that you had these tests done. She can be ruthless when she wants something. What did she do to get your blood? She asked nicely for it. She asked nicely? Nothing else in this world could be worth more than samples of your blood, and you just gave it to her? You know, maybe I was wrong. Even if humanity and Reza cooked up some crazy plan, even if they're willing to sacrifice you for their own gain, maybe you really do have nothing to do with it. Maybe you are just clueless. It doesn't matter much, though. After all, you have nothing to gain from me if I change my opinion of you. To me, proof is the only thing that really matters, so my feelings on the issue are not important. If you work with the police, though, you just learn to take things as they are. Maybe with you, I'll have to admit that I was wrong. Won't ever stop looking for those who are responsible for this. Even if I find them, I will show no mercy. Okay, I wonder if that was that unlocked the good end for Bryce. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. And then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now. If anything new happened, I would be the first to know. Okay, let me go in first because we know that this will kill him otherwise. Okay. I want to check on Remy because I'm genuinely scared that not doing his date last time might have had a bad outcome, and I don't... Okay, let's go. Yeah. Okay, good, he's fine. Okay, I just wanted to check that. But we're going to go... Actually, no, we can check on this in the other route. I was just scared that I accidentally caused Remy to die. Let's take the eggs to the hatchery. On the way there to the hatchery, I heard it when I heard a voice call out of me. Hello there. I see an unfamiliar face behind me. Oh yeah, this guy. I remember this design. I don't remember what he does. It's just kind of a memorable design. Hey, I'm Kevin. Dove, nice to meet you. Can I perhaps interest you in our Midwest institution? Is that some kind of religious thing? Not at all, it's a college. Sorry, but I already got my degrees. I know, yeah, I know, it was just a joke. Oh, so me going to college is a joke now, I'm not just that it. Not at all, even if you wanted to study there, I don't think you'll be with us long enough to make use of it. I think that came out wrong. You're lucky I won't take this the wrong way. Phew. So you're a recruiter for this college? No, this is just my summer job. Once the semester starts up again, I'll actually be attending to get my degree in psychology. College, wonderful times. Is that sarcasm? Maybe. I didn't even know you had colleges here, though. Well, you do now. Why'd you think to approach me if you know I'm not going to go to college here? Don't tell me it's just because I'm human. I was actually going to talk to that old lady who walked by, but once you turned around, there was no going back. Oh well, thanks for not making things awkward. Hey, I treat everyone nicely until I have a reason not to. That is actually just good behavior in general, to be honest. That's good service. Sure, but it's not just for the job, you know, that's just me. Yeah, I was afraid that not visiting Remy might have caused something bad to happen to him. I like Remy. Remy is a good character. I care about him. Okay, it's just me. Okay, invite. Why don't you come to my place later? I'd love to hear more about that what college is all about in this world. You found the right person for the job. I can't promise anything right now, but maybe I'll see you some other time. For sure, I also had to finish this up, but after that I'm free. Alright, let me know. Here for today, all day, and tomorrow, so it shouldn't be hard to find me. Great, I have to get going now, but I'll be sure to let you know if anything's up. See ya. Sure, see ya. Here we are again. Hi, Adine. Hey, Dove, right, what are you doing here? I just come by to drop these off. Drop what off? The stolen eggs. I figured the hatchery would want them back. Oh, I was actually going to go get those from the police department later. I'm so glad they got back safely. Emily, stop chewing on my leg. Aw, little Emily. It's tasty. Oh well. Anyway, I was about to go inside, so I'll take those off your hands. Thanks for bringing them here. No problem. Turn the eggs to the hatchery. Thanks for all your help. I'll take care of the remaining tasks so you can take the day off. Okay. Okay, I didn't know if there was anything else there that would change from getting different. Okay, we've seen this already. You've subscribers 951. It happens. Like, YouTube is weird when it comes to that. Like, YouTube is very weird when it comes to that. Okay, time to finish things with Bryce. Okay, now, like I said, this is probably the point in the part of the game. Like, if I remember right, this is the part of the game that gets probably the most risque the game ever gets. Like, it's nothing too bad, but I distinctly remember something from this. I'm just warning you guys ahead of time. Oh, that must be him. Hey, Dove. Also, I'm gonna check the status. Yeah, she's neutral. Hey, Dove. Hey, Bryce. I know you said you wanted to get out of that small apartment of yours, but I'm not sure if mine is much different. Well, I figured yours couldn't be any worse than mine. Now that I'm seeing it from the inside, I have to say the council didn't do a bad job with it at all. It's appropriate for someone of my with my status. Even the police has to make do with whatever he can get. Said it was only temporary. It is, but I'm getting really sick of it, to be honest. I can imagine. Anyway, what's the plan? Plan? Gotta do something, right? If you want some entertainment, I could offer you a bookshelf full of it. Here, Sarah Ann and the Supper of Sovereign should be enough to last you a while. No thanks, I have enough fiber in my diet already. I'm a fan of reading, then. Why would I visit you just to read some crummy books? Besides, I do read from time to time. What do you read? Signs, menus, magazines. I don't think that counts. Let me take a look around your apartment, then. Feel free, though I'm not sure if there's anything special about it. Amusement as Bryce headed for the kitchen. So that's what you're really looking for. Guess what, I found something. You showed me one of those cheap bottles of wine that had been in the cupboard since I arrived. Why don't you raid the fridge while you're at it? No thanks, this'll do for now. I get it, you want to play spin the bottle. Sure, we just gotta empty it out first. I assume you don't mean empty it into the sink. Of course not, that'd be a terrible waste. A terrible waste of the second cheapest wine from the store. I don't know how you humans are with stuff like this, but here we just don't throw away perfectly good things. Sure, this wine would qualify as perfectly good. Hey, at least it's not the absolute bottom of the barrel. Now, are you gonna help me with this or not? Yeah, let's just go with sure. I think at this point these two are on very friendly terms. And since this is probably going a romantic direction, most likely have feelings for each other at the moment. Alright, let's make it one glass for you and the rest for me. Think that's fair? If I had to guess, I'd say I weigh 5 to 10 times as much as you do, so this is as fair as it gets. If you say so. Get in cabinet and find a approachable vessel for ice, but when I turned to ask him about it, he'd already opened the bottle and was suckling on it like a baby. I suppose that means I won't have to do any dishes. How's it taste? Like wine, I guess. Cheap wine, besides I thought you were more of a beer person. Hey, I take what I can get. I'm still reminded of that scene from Shazam where the two use Billy Shazam body to, get beer because, they're kids. They're kids that want to try adult things, that take a sip of beer and just spit it out and just hate the taste of it because, yeah, from what I've heard, beer's an acquired taste. I've never drunk beer in my life. Yeah, long story short, I don't drink at all for various reasons, but from what I've heard, a few minutes later the bottle had been empty completely. I'm not sure if drinking like a dragon is a phrase, but if it isn't, it should be. Hey, not everyone can drink like me. I see. And now we can finally play spin the bottle. Don't need more people for that? Beep, you're right. Now I drank all this for nothing. Somehow I don't think the whole spin the bottle. Somehow I think the whole... Oh, this is just an excuse so you could drink the wine. What? I would never do such a thing. Of course not. Well, we could still play it with just the two of us. At that point, we won't even need the bottle anymore. Come on, where's your sense of funness? Is that even a word? We're here to relax. You should lighten up a bit. It's a bit hard to lighten up given what everything's been happening. If anything, it's worse now than it's ever been. Finding our agreement and with its survival of everyone I know back home. Really takes the cake is that he may have it out for me because I'm helping all of you. I have this conversation right now. Alright, let's have it. Just let it all out. You know, why don't we talk about Maverick? He may have it out for me because he thinks I'm working with Reza. I mean, I'm just here right in the middle of this whole mess, just trying to make the best of it. You know you're only involved in this investigation because we need your help, right? I know, and I'm doing what I can, but that doesn't mean it's making my situation any easier. You think I don't know that? Neither one responsible for reaction our police are taking in this matter? Go ahead and blame someone, just blame me, I can take it. I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying this whole situation is something I'm not very comfortable with. And whose responsibility is that? However you look at it, it's mine. You didn't listen to Maverick back when he had his suspicions about Reza. If he'd acted on them, this whole thing might not have spiraled out of control like it did. And despite what you may think about him, he was the one who found Reza's hideout even after I forced him into sick leave. Practically at Reza's front door, and he still got away somehow. If I had done something different, we might have caught him. Let this be my official apology to you. I apologize for anything I might have done to wrong you. Sorry for putting you through all this and having to involve you in our work when trying to fix this whole mess, because in the end this is all my responsibility. You don't need to apologize for anything. Throw the empty bottle against the wall on the other side of the room where it shattered to pieces. And what do you want me to do, huh? And that is actually terrifying. Not just because it's a terrifying face in general, but this is the first time we've ever... Like, we've seen the angry face from a couple other characters, but this is the first time that we've ever actually seen Bryce angry. Like, he doesn't get angry that often. Like, he's normally the very calm, reasonable guy who maybe just frowns once in a while. So seeing him like this is just... It's terrifying, and I actually like that detail. I don't know. You think it's easy for me seeing so many people die on my watch? You think I don't keep asking myself the same question, what I could have done differently, and if that would have made a difference? You'd think that as chief I'd be used to it by now, but I'm not. How could someone ever get used to this? It's my duty, you know, but I can't save them all, never could. You know what happened out on patrol today? We found a dead child and her mother in their home on the outskirts of town. Oh. Mother died from some sort of illness, and after that the daughter never left her side again, as if she'd just given up on life. Try and think of how you might explain something like that to the relatives, but I guess in this case we got lucky because the father was another one of Reza's earlier victims. You've been to more enough crime scenes by now. How have you remained so calm? Do all those who have died not matter to you? Sorry for making you look at a corpse on your very first day here, but you know I had to. Your help has been invaluable. It's not like I could ask for anyone else. It's the same for me, really. Sure, they could ask someone else to be chief, but if I'm best suited to a job, who am I to reject that? Otherwise, I'd have to blame myself for every mistake the other chief made. Is that why you drink? Might come as a surprise, but actually the alcoholic police chief used to be a huge stereotype in our world. Really? You wouldn't believe it. Actually, I do. The research about alcoholism in the police force is out there, but the general populace doesn't know about it. It's all just internal documents. Why don't people know? They don't want to know how unhappy things like that. Besides, they trust their chief. If they knew about it, maybe they'd start to have their doubts. I thought it was common knowledge that you would visit the bar fairly often enough that you're friends with the bartender. I don't know, maybe they don't realize how it affects me. They see someone who can drink a lot and does it for fun. They don't realize what it means. What other stereotypes are there about police in your world? That is the biggest one. Well, that and donuts. And suicide are both big problems in law enforcement. Suicide? Yeah, if you have to deal with the things we do on a daily basis, it can affect you in pretty bad ways. Everyone has their breaking point. We'll just cope in our own ways, different ways. Some do it better than others. That's why I'm worried about Maverick right now, and why I wish you'd known him as long as I have. Think he's at his breaking point? He's taking this whole Reza situation very personally. I'm worried about him, you know. just like I'm worried about everything else until we can sort this whole mess out. Personal for me too, no matter what you may think about Maverick or what he may think of you, he still found Reza's hideout, which led to the rest of the generators. So you have both helped all out in this investigation. My point is this, we're all a very tight-knit group at the police station. Bastion, Maverick, Naomi. Yeah, Naomi's a character we don't meet in this game. Like, we never meet her in the game, at least unless I missed a route, and I'm remembering wrong. But she does feature prominently in the prequel comic. We form on the job is how we know to look out for each other. I can tell you there's nothing else quite like it. What do you think? How many more have to die to stop Reza? He's more dangerous now than he's ever been before. Not much depends on how this turns out. Hammond, I'm just glad to have known you. Remember when I told you about the wooden models I'm making? I never told anyone else about that. As much as I like everyone at the department, it's just not something I can talk with them. You saw us at the barbecue. You saw us at the barbecue. I'd never hear the end of it. 1 second. Excuse me. Alright, about the bottle, by the way. I'd clean it up, but don't worry about it. It was empty anyway. That's the dove I like. Oh, you won't believe what happened with Emma at work. What did? I know what you told me and played along with her. She asked me for a massage again a while ago, and you gave her a massage. Honestly, I have no idea what I did. I don't know how to give a massage, so I just pressed and rubbed her here and there. And what did she do? She seemed to like it a lot. There was a lot of grunting and moaning, plus she did give me a lot of compliments. There was a lot of tension she needed to get rid of. You should visit a massage parlor then. They have people who are way more qualified than I am. Do they? Yeah, usually it's those who have better hands than I do. But then she really doesn't want the massage anyway. She just wants me. What are you going to do next? I don't know. After I gave her the massage, she just told me to go home and take the rest of the day off. And she acted like nothing happened. Did she deny that it happened? No, I didn't even bring it up. We just went on with our work as usual. Strange. Yeah, villain, she might ask me to do it again soon. And what will you do then? I'll probably just do it again. If I can get the day off, I can at least go back to the department and work on the case a bit instead of doing nothing in her office all day. Good point. It makes for an interesting story, that's for sure. True. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. If I told you that I'm a time traveler from the future, what would you say? Time travel, isn't that something that just happens in bad science fiction novels? Only bad science fiction novels in particular. Don't you think there could be a good one? I'd just say all science fiction novels because they're all bad. New generation aside, what if we say we are in a science fiction story and time travelers are real? To see some proof of it first. That's not something you come across every day, after all. I'm finding you as a friend. You'd still have to show me some proof or I would call you out on a joke. What if I was serious? Well, it's pretty far out. That's the kind of thing someone would make up to scam people out of their money or something like that. Alright, let's forget about time travelers. What if I told you there's another human here beside Reza and me? This is getting weird, Dove. Just entertain me for this question. Unless you had some sort of proof, I'd call you crazy. Aren't you supposed to follow up on every report? Yes, but that doesn't mean we have to believe everything. If there's no proof, we'll look for proof. If we don't find some, well, proof or leads to follow, there's nothing we can do anyway. I see. By the way, when you and Sebastian went to the farmhouse to go after Reza, you just left me alone with Maverick in the same room. I did? Yeah, I was worried there for a few seconds. Don't worry about him. You mentioned you had a talk with him about a week ago, and that didn't end badly for you either. He might be scary, but I don't think you need to be afraid of him. A very strong sense of justice, so it wouldn't do anything to you without a good reason. We were alone. We had an opportunity to talk where he made his position very clear. Did he threaten you? No, I was honest with him, and in turn, I think he was honest with me as well. Oh, really? Yeah, I had nothing to hide. If he was willing to talk, I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity. How'd it go then? I think he doesn't suspect me as much anymore. Yes, leaving you alone with him wasn't a bad thing after all. I suppose you could say so. I just did. What's that outside? Fireworks? Yeah, it must be the summer festival. You wanted to get out of your apartment rather than go to the festival. You came here. Festival isn't really anything special for me anymore. Seen them once, seen them all. So that's usually more of a thing for families, really. I see. The fireworks people keep talking about? No, they have a fireworks show every evening. Nobody really cares about the first couple of days. It's on the last one they bring out the big ones. I usually watch those. Also, if there's big explosions, then you care. Well, yeah, but it's a big tradition here, maybe even an ideological one. You know, everyone in the town united under the stars, watching the beautiful fireworks. It's a thing. People have been telling me for the last few days how I just have to see them. You know, you kind of owe it to us as ambassador to take part in a cultural event like that. I'm going to go anyway, so you don't need to convince me. You come with me, I know all the good viewing spots. Most of the popular ones are usually super crowded, and we want to avoid those. Can't really promise anything right now, but I'll keep it in mind. My number, so let me know as soon as you can. Sure thing. Those fireworks are often a couple thing. I'm not surprised they set the moon for a romantic evening. Well, they're going on outside right now. Are you saying you want to go outside and watch? No, I'm saying we could take the conversation elsewhere, namely the bedroom. There's nothing special, I can assure you of that. Other than the one I have right now. No, when you slept over, we shared the couch. I took it as a sign. Mean anything to you, or was it just two friends sharing a couch that was clearly too small for two people who just wanted to stay friends? It didn't mean what you thought it meant. It meant exactly what you thought it meant. It didn't mean anything, but we can still make it a romantic evening. Okay, let's go with this, because that is what I was leaning into. Why don't we make this a little more romantic then? Share a glass of wine and see where the evening takes us. Have another bottle in the kitchen. I'll go fetch it. Sure thing. Okay, I think here it comes. Kitchen to fetch a bottle of wine and two appropriate vessels, wondering how Bryce would manage the wine glass. Return to the kitchen, however, is met with an unexpected sight. Yep, here we go. I mean, it's not that bad. Okay, you know where this is going. We just did agree that that's what we were going to do, so... scream, reject, accept. Yeah, let's just... Oh my. Yeah, and that is about as risque as this game gets, fortunately, but... Yeah, and it's not that bad. Bryce ran to see that someone has an embarrassed look on his face. What is it? No, I was fine, don't stop. Not something you've seen here before, right, huh? Not like that. And then, especially with my kind, they are, well, I think you can see what I mean. Do you just want to stand there and keep staring? No. Then you come a little closer. Alright. Yeah, they don't show anything explicit, but yeah, you know what happened. Yay me. Yep. Okay, let's meet with Kevin. That must be him. Hello. Good to see you again. This is where you live, huh? For the time being. That's pretty nice for a small town like this one. Are you not from around here? No, I'm just here for a job until the next semester starts. Basically, I'm trying to drum up interest in the college to see if anyone's around here who'd apply for it. How's that working out? Well, I haven't actually met that many candidates out here so far. For a town like this one, it's typical for young people to go into apprenticeship to prepare for a future job rather than go to college. But if there's anyone willing, we want to find them. Even out here? Yeah, there's a need for more highly educated people in the cities as they expand. Cities? That's the first I hear of cities in this world. I thought this town was where it was at. You're really missing out. This town isn't really all that special when it comes down to it. I've lived in a city most of my life. Of course, that's also where the college is. I don't think they'd build one out here anyway. I think as an ambassador they'd show me around a bit, but apparently this isn't the case. This is more of a political issue, a bit of a political issue right now. The bottom line is that it's also for your own protection. Everything surrounding the portal has been a well-kept secret. People know that it exists and that we currently have human visitors, but the exact location is only known to those who live here. I doubt. I don't think this town could face the ensuing torrent of tourists trying to catch a glimpse of you. They're restricted as well. There are strict conditions for people who want to come out of here. The only reason I was allowed to is because this isn't my first time doing this job. The people here already know me. Heck, I didn't even know this was the town in question until I arrived and heard everyone talking about you. I'm glad they're taking the matter seriously. They certainly are. I'd like to know more about the cities you talked about, though. I can only speak about the one I live in, but what do you want to know? I only really have this town as a point of reference, so why don't you tell me what's different? Gee, that's only pretty much everything. Out here, living in general seems to be a lot cheaper than in the city. Why does the dragon have fur? Well, one, I'm assuming that all these dragons are, backer, because this was a Kickstarter. I'm assuming all these dragons are, like, are backer designs. I know a lot of them are. I know Low-Rim is. Yeah, I know Low-Rim and his their roommate are backer characters. So I think a lot of these are just backer characters, the backer design. And I guess when they decided to make the dragons, they decided to give some of them fur. I think there are some dragons in certain mythologies that have fur. Is much more room for everything. Green spaces, parks, fields, farms. You don't really get that in the city. People are more laid back and there's a bigger sense of community as everyone knows everyone, which can be both good and bad. For example, rumors travel fast and survive well in areas like this. In the city, you can just make a few new friends when that happens. Here, a few well-paced stories could be social death. City, it's also much more crowded. Buildings pretty much line the streets and there isn't room for anything else. Clubbing scene and opportunities for socializing, there's no shortage of potential friends. Also many different jobs and education communities you wouldn't find out here. Like what? 1 second. Okay, I heard something. I think it's just Riley yawning. I mean, not yawning, snoring. Yes, Riley snores. Creative jobs of all kinds, for example, game designers, writers, artists, that kind of stuff. I think those for teaching positions in those areas as well. For example, if I wanted to learn how to write a romance novel, I can find a course for that easily. Out here, this would be more difficult, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. In a way, it always feels like you're busy when you live in a city. The streets are usually filled with people trying to get somewhere. Of course, there's also the side effect of the small apartments, as people tend to go out and more often and seek entertainment elsewhere. Which do you prefer? I suppose I prefer the city. That's not to say I think one is better than the other. Different spokes for different spokes and all that. You know, out here people probably laugh at some of the things I do in my free time, and in the city you get enough like-minded people to even get conventions going on about all these kinds of things. Also, I guess when they genetically engineered his species, they probably just included some mammals in the genome other than humans. What conventions do you go to? All kinds of geeky things, cartoons, comics, all that stuff. I've even written a few fanfics before, too, since I can't really draw that all that well. I sympathize with this character's existence. Aren't cartoons usually for kids? No, that is not true. That's like saying that books are usually for just kids. Cartoons are just a medium. Of course, there are a few that are aimed at kids, but there are cartoons for adults as well. Adults, I see. Not like that. Well, I mean, there are cartoons like that, but that wasn't what I was talking about. I cannot stand 95% of adult cartoons. Like, if you like them, that's fine, but like stuff like Family Guy and American Dad, I hate those. I do like Futurama, and I do like King of the Hill. And depends on the season, but I do like a lot of the stuff Simpsons does, but if it's something where the main character is a sociopathic jerk, I hate it. Hi, Bobby Reynolds. Or Reynolds. In any case, what else falls under the geeky interest for you? Let's see. I guess you could say I'm kind of a techie. I do like following news about technology and hearing about all the new developments in the industry. Must be pretty interested in the portal then. Alright, I didn't even consider I could actually go there and check it out if I knew where that was. Like the Flintstones and Jetsons? Of course I like the Flintstones and Jetsons. I do like those. But I was meaning like those adult cartoons that like air on Adult Swim, which are 90% profane humor and look at how sociopathic the main character is. Those I don't like. I like stuff like Futurama where the characters actually have in-depth characters, and yes, there's a lot of comedy, but they're not sociopathic jerks. If you like Family Guy and the others, that's perfectly fine. Like what you want to like, just not my thing. I knew where it was, that is. I could show you. Did that, you'd be like the coolest human I ever met. I suppose you'd be that by default, since you're the only human I ever met, but you get the idea. Let's just go. I'll be right behind you. This is it. There it is in all its glory. That looks so much cooler than I thought it would. Well, state your business. I just wanted to show the portal to my friend here. Well, friend, you can look, but don't touch anything, and no photos either. Do I look like I have a camera? Or you can be hiding something in your fur. Are you gonna give me a pat down? I don't think so. What's that, though? Flyers for a Midwest institution. I could give you one if you're interested in going back to school. No, thank you. I'm quite happy with my current job, which is protecting the portal from any unsavory individual. What's up with you, Sebastian? Doing my job, Dove. He could be a spy. Really? A lot of interest in the portal from the cities. They made us offers, but for now we're not doing anything until we see how your visit turns out. In the end, it's just a political power struggle. Small towns like us had to protect our interests. And in the process, reinforce the stereotype of country bumpkins being conspiracy nuts. You know I could arrest you, right? Respect is a two-way street is all I'm saying. It's good, but control is better. It's just a matter of perspective. Oh, I think I've seen enough here anyway. Let's head back, Dove. Sure. But yeah, I like Flintstones and Jetsons. You're not gonna leak anything, are you? Of course not. Now that I think about it, I totally could, though. Oh, really? I have some connections in the potential audience. Now you're starting to sound like Sebastian at a point. Not really, I just know a few people from writing a column back in our college magazine. It got popular enough that it was even featured in the local newspaper for a while. Interesting, what did you write about? Nothing special really, just commentary on current events. Well, I guess you're pretty involved in your local community then. Not any more than anyone else, I think. What's it like to actually live on campus? College in general is a pretty unique period in life, I'd say. Something I've noticed is that people are not prepared for the independence they have when living on campus. You're on a chaotic schedule where you have nothing to do some days, where on others you are kept busy with classes, homework, and other things that you have to do. With study buddies, roommates, and classmates, it's not really hard to make new friends. I also get to meet a lot of people who share similar interests from taking the same classes or being in the same clubs. And don't forget about dorms, so all these people are always within reach of each other, which could be both good and bad. You can be tempted to hang out with friends when you really should be studying. For many people, it becomes the first taste of real freedom and independence. Some can handle it better than others, I suppose. That can be a problem with team projects, for example. There's always someone who ends up never showing up and not doing any part of the work. For me, it's not really a problem since I actually enjoy what I'm doing there. Here, I don't mind the homework. Sometimes I read up on subjects in advance so I don't get left behind. Corrected the professor once or twice during a lecture. I think that wouldn't be a good idea with certain kinds of professors. Well, with ours, I was even allowed the privilege of giving a guest lecture for my own class once. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was thinking about. Come on, learning should be fun. It certainly is for me. I suppose being able to have that kind of attitude makes it a lot easier. Certainly does. Let's see how it keeps you once you have a few semesters under your non-existent belt. Don't be so negative, and just for your information, I do have a belt at home. Besides, it's not as if I'm some sort of antisocial hermit focuses on his studies. I just know when to say no to my friends. Oh, really? Yes, we usually get together on weekends, do some cooking together. People only stand so much frozen food before they get sick of it. And eating out in the city can add up pretty quickly if you're not careful. I see. Take the cook every week, but apparently people are looking forward to when it's my turn. I've gotten a lot of compliments for my homemade mac and cheese. Now you're making me hungry. I bet they all miss it, but they'll get a good taste of it once summer vacation is over in a month or so. Meantime, you're just out here handing out flyers. Yeah, it's good to help our college, and I can save up a bit in the process. It's certainly easier than trying to juggle a job and homework at the same time later on if things get tight. What are you studying again? Psychology. I see. Alright, go ahead and analyze me right now. Doesn't really work like that. I know, you just passed the test. Oh, I know what you're getting at. Maybe I'll steal that test from you, though. It might be worth trying it out on a few people I know. Be my guest. Or seriously, now tell me something about what you're learning. What, anything? I just want to get an idea of the subject and whether it's compared to our own understanding of psychology. I see. Well, I could tell you about the old and very simplified models of our psyche that we got taught in the introductory classes. Sounds good. Okay, so this model divides our psyche apparatus into three distinct parts, called the id, ego, and superego. The id represents our most basic desires and instinctual drives, that is, our physical needs and wants, like hunger and thirst, as well as desires and impulses. What's the difference? The impulse is more like wanting to lash out in anger, for example. The id seeks out immediate gratification for these urges. It is in conflict with the superego, which represents learned behavior like culture and moral rules, and societal standards, the kind of stuff we learn from our role models like our parents, teachers, and guardians. It is the part of it that forms our conscience and controls our sense of right and wrong. It seeks to uphold these standards to perfection, which most of the time goes against what the id wants at any given moment. Like you had to learn a lot of this. Those internalized rules are broken, this behavior is punished by the superego with feeling of guilt and shame. We're compelled to behave in accordance with these rules, even if the id tempts us to do otherwise. In between those two conflicting parts of us, there is the ego, who is trying to mediate. It represents our rational mind that seeks to please the id, drives in a way that doesn't harm or goes against the superego's goals. However, it also serves another master, the external world. It includes all our decision-making, how we respond to external stimuli. Ultimately, it is one of the calling the shots while we try to balance the needs of the id, superego, and the external world. And there you have it. Now, a simplified model of our psyche. It still serves as a good introduction, though. Actually, I may have heard about something like this before. Why did you go into psychology in particular? Just interested in how people work, I suppose. It's also an incredibly diverse subject, and so are the potential jobs. Being able to understand people is such a huge factor in many fields, and the skills you learn come in handy in all areas of life, really. When you hear about psychology, most people usually think psychiatrists or psychotherapists, but they can also be counselors for communities, organizations, teachers, or researchers or teachers. You also often see them teaming up with other professionals to influence every part of society. Just think about hospitals, these prisons, even schools and universities. And also go on to become coaches for high-performance jobs when they work with CEOs, athletes, and performers of all kinds. In addition, every business works with people can profit from the presence of someone who has studied psychology. That's why you also find this kind of knowledge to be incredibly useful even when you are a manager or in sales, because those jobs require empathy and understanding of your client's needs. Understanding people is just something that comes in handy pretty much wherever you go, and that's what psychology is all about. Video game psychology is a factor. Horror games are a pretty obvious example, but also with tutorials or UI design, You'll interact with your game. Psychology and player expectations are always going to be a factor. I think I get the idea. Out here, I think a lot could be done to improve the image of the field, you know. What do you mean? There's a bit of a stigma to admitting you need help, especially when you're doing fine physically. For them, it's a sign of weakness, so in order to preserve their image, they hide everything away. But locking away those things solve the problem. If anything, it just makes it worse. Something you like to work with? Me, honestly, I don't think I could tackle a big issue like that. It's good for me that psychology is such a diverse field. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it yet, or what particular job I'd like to have after I'm done with my studies. I see. I think you still have time to figure that out. Yeah, before I came here for my summer job, I was in a psychotherapist office for a month. I got to hear some interesting stuff and also tragic cases. I thought I wanted to help people with issues like that, but sometimes it's pretty hard not to get affected too much by those stories, so I'm not sure I'm the right job for it. You're working with people, right? I don't know, maybe, oh, dang it. Maybe interning there was a little too close to the sun for me. You why would you want to be the one to hand out flyers? Like you just mentioned earlier, psychology comes in handy with sales and similar jobs where the people handing out flyers is pretty similar to that, don't you think? I guess. You seem to be doing well enough with that. You're helping to bring your college and people together, and in this way you're helping both. It's been a lot of fun too. After all, I got to meet you and even get a glimpse of the portal. Who knows, maybe one of those people you hand a flyer to will one day turn out to be famous for their work. Now I think you're being a little too idealistic, but I get your point. It doesn't always have to be about big problems, it's just little problems that need solving. Like what you're eating this weekend. Yeah. What about you, though? What do you mean? I don't want to pry, but we've been talking about all this time, and you know a lot more about me than I do about you. Maybe you can't say anything about where you grow up or what you study because it's top secret or whatever, but I'd be lying if I wasn't curious. I don't like talking about myself all that much, and I think there are some things that are better left unsaid. AKA I am the player's avatar to characterize however they want. But I do think the ambassador here has more of a sense of self than a lot of silent protagonists do. I think there are some things better left unsaid. I see, but if you're curious, I guess it's only fair to shoot her through things as well. You know, it's been fun talking about college. I already got my degrees a while ago. It's interesting to go hunting for jobs with my unusual combination of degrees. Thought that would open a few doors. Before I got anywhere, our world underwent a few changes that made a lot of jobs obsolete. It's been a rough time since then. Turns out those degrees came in handy after all because they enabled me to come here. Consider all the good and bad that's happened since my arrival. It's been a vacation compared to home, and looks like the vacation might come to an end soon. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I only hope my visit here will have started something that will change for our world, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Shouldn't be such a downer, though. Sorry for bringing it up, but maybe that explains why I don't like talking about it. Your professional opinion on this? Well, my professional opinion of the file on your distribution is a general application of hugs, but that's just me. You look like you could need them. I don't think that's necessary. Go for it. Step forward, I soon found myself being enveloped in the furry dragon's embrace. The close, it felt like a giant furry blanket was all around me as the hairs tickled my exposed skin. And he took a step back again. I hope things get better for you in the future. I don't think I can do anything to help with that, though. I know, you prefer the little problems. Being dark, I should probably head out and look for a cave, or else I'll have to sleep in the streets. What are you talking about? Well, it seems like all the hotels are already full, despite the vetting process for visitors. Enough people got in to take all available short-term lodging spots in town. Oh, really? Yep, despite only a few people knowing your location or that of the portal, journalists and tourists are flocking to the towns to glimpse or at least find a clue as to your whereabouts. Not only leaves me with the option of finding or renting a cave for the night or sleeping in the streets. Not that I mind sleeping in a cave, but for someone like me it's usually something for an adventurous weekend and a way of life. Rocks don't absolutely make for the best betting. You just sleep here? Well, you better get going then. Let's be nice. Really? Yeah, there's plenty of room here, and it's kind of my fault you couldn't find another place anyway. Guess that means you don't share the officer's suspicions about me being a spy then. Not really. You know, I could totally take this room apart while you're sleeping. You're not helping your case there. Besides, you won't find anything special here. Hey, I'd keep an eye on that copy of Draconic Exile you got there on the shelf. I might be tempted to snatch it when you're not looking. Like I'd mind, if you need something for bedtime or reading, feel free to help yourself. Oh, I will. You met Kevin. Yeah, I like Kevin. Again, I like having these little side things where you meet these random dragons and just learn details about them. Leadership. I had turbulent dreams. My consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. The big fireworks festival. Who shall I bring? Of course, it's him. And Adine's dead. So, yeah, Adine died between them. I don't know about Remy, because I can't see him for some reason. But given he was fine the last time we saw him, I assume he's fine now. Also, let's save. Just in case. Okay, of course we're gonna go with Bryce, who is now our boyfriend in this timeline. That must be him. I'll be ready to see the fireworks because I brought everything we need. In front of him was a woven basket that was closed on top. It reminded me of a lot of a typical picnic basket. Talking about snacks and other things, you'll see. Let's go then. A few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area on the edge of town. Where is everyone else? I thought the whole populace was watching the fireworks. Well, there are more public spaces, but someone like you would get pushed around a lot in crowds. Besides, I think you'll appreciate the solitude. If you say so. Work should start any minute now. If you're hungry, you can grab something from the fun basket. Fun basket? That's what I call it. I didn't know snacks were that much fun for you. I mean, besides there are other sides and things inside as well. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky. It exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing through the land. You remember what happened last time there were fireworks? Is that what the fun basket is for? Actually, no, unless you're feeling adventurous. Outside, that's pretty adventurous, I'd say. Suit yourself. There's him in the back and feeling around with his claws. Meanwhile, my gaze wandered to the illuminated night sky. Terrible realization hit me, considering how public this event was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks. How could now would be the best time for us to make his move? It was the village basically deserted, but the sound of fireworks would have overshadowed any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever have. As the portal was repaired by the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Bryce, I think we need to go now. What, do you want to take us somewhere else? I know where Reza is. What are you talking about? Are you sure? I'd bet my life on it. I mean, I have no time to lose. Let's go. I like that Bryce just instantly trusts you. Because, well, at this point he would. We arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. While I checked out the portal itself, Bryce looked around the area. Glad to see it still turned off. Had it been used recently, it would either still be running or in the process of recharging. Still here somewhere. Beep it. What is it, Bryce? Hesitating, I drew nearer. Yeah, Sebastian. Next full playthrough, I'll try to remember how we save him. He's dead, but still warm. That beep. Hasn't used the portal yet. How could he? Isn't it broken? 9 more looks like someone repaired it. He must be close, but where is he? What is so important that he won't leave without it? The underground building. He told me about the prowess of the generators within it. It probably wouldn't have been hard for Reza to guess the same. by stealing from a place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. That must be it. So what do we do now? We could wait for him here, but I think I've got an even better plan. What is it? Let's just do it like last time. You go in first, and I'll stay behind and out of sight. If you meet him, you can confront him and maybe talk him down. But if he tries to flee, he'll still have to get through me first. Alright, let's go. Let me to the dig site where they had unearthed the building's entry. Once we got closer, he stayed behind and motioned for me to go forward. He followed me, trying to stay in cover as I entered the building. So I was met with a long, illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Since the lights were already on, Reza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised that the building still having electricity, since its generators were also powering the portal. One of the doors opened, and out came Reza carrying a large cardboard box. Okay, I think that's the same. There you are, Dove. You don't know how glad I am to see you. Okay. No. Okay, yeah, this is just the same. Okay. I don't want to skip through it. What are you talking about? I didn't kill anyone. Don't lie to me, you did it, I remember it now. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. Are you telling me you weren't the one who stole the generators and those things these past few 2 weeks? No, I was in hiding. After what happened in the portal, I didn't dare to do anything that could jeopardize our mission. Why didn't you just come back? How could I? They wanted to arrest me. I was a fugitive. Surprised they didn't apprehend you, but then you weren't the one that shot one of their police officers. Come on, Reza, the murders only started happening after you were gone. We've got plenty of evidence. You're the only one with a motive. All I did this whole time was try to find a way to contact you so you could talk to our people and figure out something out for me. That's a situation like that. Besides, how do you know so much about what the police are doing? I've been helping them because you were going about this the wrong way. I didn't kill anyone, I'm telling you. We have proof, as I've seen it myself. Just turn yourself in and we'll go from there. Nobody can help you if you don't do that. I'm not going to turn myself in for something I didn't do. Not for these beasts. Who knows what they'll do to someone like me in captivity? How else do you expect this to end? I'm not going anywhere until I get a free passage back home. Actually, I could just leave this place right now. The portal's fixed after all. That's not going to happen. Let me ask you one thing. How exactly are you planning to stop me? I'm the one with a gun here. Shoot me to save your own hide? Only if it says I'm standing in my way. You're not going to get away that easily. What are you going to do, huh? I'll be long gone by the time you call the cops. I don't need to, Reza. They're already here. They're standing next to me. Planned this, didn't you, Dove? Traitor. And to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick just because I thought there was a shred of humanity within you. This guy, I'm not sure which of us you should be aiming at. Just let me go and I'll forget this whole thing ever happened. 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Reza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? Risking my life for this every day these past 2 weeks. What do you think I did during that time? Sip champagne? You do that during that time. Sip champagne in your nice apartment? The whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. They came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Reza. No, they belong to me. He was Reza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who beep are you? Freeze, I said freeze. Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free, you can't stop all of us. You say so. Trigger and the minister fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. Yep, the administrator's a woman, which I don't think we knew in other timelines. Right, but as Bryce and Maverick started charging, so did I. So that's 5 bullets. Shooting both Maverick and Bryce. Shooting both Maverick and Bryce was in my direction. And I got the box with the generator for cover just as Reza pulled the trigger multiple times. A single shot came out and lodged itself in the box, though I was seemingly unharmed, a loud hissing and they were cover. One, it's going to explode. Towards the exit, so was soon overtaken by both Reza and Maverick. On my shoulder, see Bryce grabbed the administrator before he started running as well. When I reached the outside, the explosion knocked me off my feet. There was a rain of small debris as I heard the wall of the building shaking in the foundation. Until I saw Reza fumbling with his gun as Maverick pounced on him. Into Reza's neck and strained for a second before ripping a large chunk out of it. Then when Maverick walked off and came towards me. Where's Bryce? I looked back towards the entry that was now blocked most of the road. He must still be inside. Then what are you waiting for? Come on. Towards the rubble, only to see the administrator crawling through a small hole as she removed the last bits of debris that separated her from the outside world. Raining heavily, water began to trickle from the new opening. The water pockets, the building must be flooded. He's still inside. I'll clear the rubble. You try to find him. Both set to work as I stuck my head into the hole the administrator had crawled out of. The place was flooded completely, but luckily, even through the water, I could see Bryce as he tried to clear the rubble away from the other side. Quickly, I pulled my head back out of the hole. Only as I was trying to get through. Who knows how long he's been underwater. Give him some air. Deep breath before I went in again and extended my arm to grab Bryce's muzzle. Luckily, he seemed to understand what I was going for as he moved into my reach. I pressed my lips to his muzzle, giving him some much-needed air. I drew back, repeating the process a few times while Maverick cleared away the rubble and until eventually Bryce surfaced, panting heavily. Are you alright? Yeah, let's go away from here before the empty water pockets cave in or something. Carried the administrator while we went uphill towards the portal. Well, Reza's dead. Where's Reza Corp? I took the time to strip him of his gun and ammo, not wanting the dragons to find them. The administrator was sat on the ground. Bryce checked everyone's injuries. Lucky it seemed both Maverick and Bryce's were comparatively minor and didn't need any immediate attention. It was not so lucky, however. She squirmed as Bryce moved her clothes out of the way to get a good look at her bullet wound. No, don't. In return to them, I heard Bryce audibly gasping. Beep it. Is it bad? Dove, do you remember the first victim? The blood on his muzzle from fighting back was neither yours nor Reza's, but all still distinctly human. It was an error, or that your DNA tests weren't compatible. Reza doesn't have a matching bite wound from him. She does. These are Bryce's words, whereas Reza usually didn't hesitate to admit his killings to reach a goal he thought was noble. Not any such actions this time. Of course, there was no use ignoring the evidence before us. This could only mean one thing. Why did you do it, Azumi? Why did you kill them? Okay, so her name, I don't think we heard her name yet, but I guess in another timeline our character did. Why'd you kill them? He did kill them, you know, just not this timeline. If you can even remember my name now, then you should remember what else he would have done. How he would enslave them to use as weapons back in the future. How he doesn't care what happens to this world. I had to do it in order to put you on the same trail he would have. If I had come to you during the first night and tried to explain to you that I am a time traveler who had to kill in order to prevent a suffering that is magnitudes greater, genocide, slavery, would you have believed me? Who could have known that sometimes even Reza can change? If he didn't kill anyone, there would be no investigations, and you wouldn't have known how dangerous he is when he shows his true colors. You just saw that even in this scenario, he wouldn't shy away from shooting others to get what he wants. Besides, I didn't want to risk jeopardizing our experience by changing things. We saw the progress we have made and the things we have learned over many times we've done this now. If I didn't shove you out of the way in the cellar when the light fixture came down, you would have died then and there. That's what happened the first few times. Trial and error involved to get things where we are now. You wouldn't believe the lengths I had to go through every single time and the consequences if I don't. Wouldn't have followed the same path and arrived here if I didn't kill them. The fact that you remembered it was originally Reza who did it only proves just how important this is. Only if the events stay the same long enough will we be able to learn from them and remember the effects of repeated teleportations have on your memory. This only tells me I made the right call. If Reza had nothing to do with it, then what was he going to do when he was trying to take the generator? Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I slipped him a note that he thought came from you. 1 second, just checking something really quick. Okay, so... he said to meet here and take the generator before you'd leave together. He played his part well enough so you couldn't tell the difference. So he really did think I planned all this and that I lured him here to have him arrested by Bryce and Maverick. For all he's done, I think he deserves to know what betrayal feels like. I've listened to this long enough. It was you, and that's all that matters to me. No, Maverick, don't. I'll tear you apart. Tried to go between them, but Maverick aimed his shoulder squarely into the Bryce's bullet wound. Only in plainest, Maverick pounced on Izumi and fell into her. I put a few bullets into the gun I took from Reza before and aimed it at Maverick and pulled the trigger several times. Maverick collapsed instantly and looked at me with a pain expression. Beneath him, Izumi lay dead. Why? Trembling and took a few steps towards me, only stopping when I aimed the gun at him. Stop right there. She killed him and you're protecting her. We needed her. I told you I'd show no mercy if I found the killer. Just when I thought I could trust you, I should have known you'd shoot me just like Reza did. No, it's not like that. Then why? I don't think I can explain. He shook his head weakly. Thanks for proving me right, Dove. You remember when I confronted you a while back and asked you to explain your reasons? I wouldn't understand. You're right, I don't. His head slumped as he closed his eyes. He was dead. Yeah, and what he did was wrong. Like, that's not how a police officer is supposed to act, but this is definitely sad. And definitely a time when circumstances force hands. But yeah, that is something a police officer should never do. Hey, Bryce. Afraid I got some pretty bad news for you. What is it? We were able to power the portal again even without the generation in the lab, but we couldn't reestablish contact with humanity. Why not? Since the portal got sabotaged and repaired the coordinates, the connection to humanity's portal is just not there anymore. If you locate it again, we don't know how. Not a different set of coordinates in there, but for some reason we aren't able to use them. I know, only I can. Traveling back in time to the day of my arrival. I guess you really are a time traveler, huh? Now that you know everything, that really shouldn't surprise you. What are you going to do now? Well, I guess returning to humanity is out of the picture. So it's either staying here or using the portal to return to the day you arrived here. Time travel business is too complicated for me. Zumi had it all figured out. I'm wondering what she would think about this outcome. Whatever wanted was to save your dragons, just like Reza only wanted to save humanity. We're shut away from killing people, so maybe you shouldn't look to them as pillars of morality. Well, I'm not sure if you really have much choice here. They don't actually know if they can stop the comet. Of course they'll try, but without the generation lab, it's not looking great for us. Actually, I came to help humanity, but if I go back with what I know now, maybe I can help you too. Alright, it was nice while it lasted. Hey, no need for melancholy now. It's not like as if we're not going to see each other again. And I like that he clearly understands why the protagonist did what they did with Maverick, because he was trying to save Izumi because we needed her, because she was the only one that knew how to work the portal. And also, killing a captured criminal is not right. Soon I was preparing to return to the day of my arrival. Despite her actions, Izumi had made a good point. Without the knowledge I had, I realized just how important it was to remember and how it would help me in my next attempt. No operation would erase some of my memory again, but I could think of a few ways to retain some knowledge. I take my own written account of what happened with me, but there were also physical reminders I could bring to remember, such as Izumi's mask and cloak. With her gone now, I was now the one with the most experience. Into the portal, I realized in order to make this mission a success, to save everyone, this time I would have to save myself. And that is Bryce's, I believe, good end. Yep, that's Bryce's good ending. And as you can see, now we have Kevin and the Ice Cream Dragon, whose name I can never pronounce. Okay, we still got about 15 minutes, so we are going to once more go back in time. And this time we're going to meet with Remy. Return to the past now. Hey Remy. Hello Dove. Particular reason why you wanted to meet here? I enjoyed Tetsu Park is all. Have you been here before? A few times, I see. Well, what do you think of it? Pretty idyllic, it's pretty romantic, it's nothing special. Let's go with idyllic. It is, I like it a lot here. You mentioned you wanted to talk to me about something. Yes, well, about that. I just have a lot on my mind, and I felt I needed to tell someone. I wouldn't burden you if I had anyone else to talk to, but the simple fact is that I don't. You can talk to me, Remy. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's not a problem. What's on your mind? I don't even know where to begin. You ever feel like there's an emptiness inside you that every day is the same joyous routine that you wish you could escape, but you can't? I think our protagonist could say I used to, because of, you know, post-apocalypse. I see. It's about Amira again. Well, it's not just about her, but working with her doesn't make things any easier. I think just a few years ago I was the happiest I could have been, and now I have nothing but my miserable life. What happened? It's a long story. We have a lot of time. Make it a quick one. I don't mind. Let's go with I don't mind. Okay, well. A few years ago I worked in the public sector. I mean, I still do, but my position was a different one. I didn't work under a minister back then. I was part of a committee tasked with proving independent and factually backed opinions on community topics. It was supposed to help not only politicians but also the general populace. Outside interference, we did our own fact-checking based on research and quickly reported our findings. Our individual members didn't always agree, but we made sure the end results were some verifiable facts. In this way, we offered a variety of comprehensive opinions on difficult topics. We found the truth and allowed people and politicians to make their minds from there. Our work was a key influence in the community, and because the conclusions of each individual member were always very different, it could never be said that we were biased. During one such assignment, I met a certain person named Amelia. My task was to determine the viability of several projects, each competing for a research grant from our council. Amelia was a member of one of the scientific teams vying for a grant. She was an inventor, and her group was looking for a way to streamline hospital processes and tests by utilizing new technology. Saw her was when our committee watched her group's pitch. One of the things we had to do was determine whether their claims and goals were realistic. In her case, there were. Ultimately, they didn't get the grant, but when she recognized me in a restaurant a while later, we started talking. She was very smart, and I admired her spirit. She just wanted to help people with her talents, and in this way she reminded me a lot of myself. Seeing one another, we grew close, and before long we were dating. It felt so right. But our relationship was about to become very serious, but then she informed me that her research group had applied for another grant. Of course, that complicated things. My committee was once again tasked with judging the viability of different projects, and while I intended to stay impartial on the matter, she probably would have been seen as an influence due to our relationship. In mind, we decided not to meet again until the grant winner was determined. We hadn't expected her group to get it, but in the end they did. We didn't want to end our relationship over something like that, but if word got out that we were together during the decision-making period, it would have put both our jobs in jeopardy. So I had to wait and made a commitment. 6 months after the grants was given to our team, we would return to one another and make our relationship public. That much time would have ensured it wouldn't be an issue. We even made plans to move in together when the time came. We never got that far. I only know the rest of what happened from various reports, but apparently Amelia got sick. Nothing serious, mind you. She continued working from home as best she could. I was already behind schedule, and she didn't want to endanger it. critical and very curious about what the project would amount to, and she didn't want to be responsible for its failure if she took a few days off to recuperate. So every day she continued working on the project until the dead of night. One evening she went out to pick up her medication. It was something to help her stay awake, but she was sick and overworked. Her prescription side effects and the supplements caused her to collapse. No one was around to see her fall. When she was found the next day, she was covered by a blanket of fresh snow. It was too late. She froze to death in the middle of the cold winter night. If someone was with her, then this would not have happened, but she died out there alone. All because we kept our relationship secret. Okay, so now I can actually bring attention to something. Like, now I can actually bring attention to something. Remember back at our first date with Remy when we identified that, when we found the basket full of, like, his trash basket was full of tissues, and he wrote something in his notebook. The letters were A.M. Amelia. Yeah, they foreshadowed that all the way from the first meeting, and I do appreciate that. We had plans to move in together. We even talked about having our own small family. Some things are just not meant to be, it seems. If I had to identify the moment in my life started going downhill, losing Amelia would be it. Ripped out in that moment, and now only emptiness remains. It's like a wound that never closes. Maybe you saw those pictures in my apartment. Even my home was a reminder of her. We were going to move into that apartment together. And this time wherein I got it from her as well. When she gave it to me, she said it was red like her scales. As long as I wore it, she would be with me in a way. A long time I've been holding on to her with all my might. I wish I could stop because I know it's killing me. But I've been doing it for so long, I don't think I can. And in some ways, holding on to Amelia has helped me. When I look back on all of those happy memories we made, Amira's bullying hurts a little less, if only because those memories hurt so much more. I would love my job if it wasn't for Amira. The constant struggle, a battle I have to fight every day. Each of her words slices through me, creating new words on top of others that never close. Days I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't know how much longer I can. Poor Remy. Remy, I think, is the character in this game that needs hugs the most. Like, I feel really bad for the poor guy. I'm not sure there's anything that can fill the void. You're still gonna be professional about this? No, I don't think I could, not with a stranger. Thank you, Dove. Getting all that off my chest helped. No problem, Remy. Paused and gave me a better smile. Quite a bit of time has passed since you arrived. You've barely been able to speak. I've been talking a lot. I don't mind. You're mine, too. Okay, let's go with there is. Since I work with Amira, I know all the details surrounding you and Reza. Not many do. The rumors are going around town. All this time you've been working with our police? Yes. Yeah, and now you're hunting the person who was supposed to be your partner. That must be really hard for you. You're the one to do the right thing. Nothing about that has changed. What kind of person is Reza anyway? Kind of stops at nothing to achieve what he believes in. I can see that. We've already witnessed just how far he will go. What do you think about him? Honestly, I'm not sure. Back home, this relentless quality of his was admired, but I certainly don't condone his actions. Given what I know about him, I think he must have a reason, as weird and twisted as it may be. Now, what about you? I have my own principles. I see. How's your hunt for Reza going, anyway? Not too great. We don't have any strong leads or any ideas of his whereabouts. In the end, we're just following his trail of murder and destruction. People are getting afraid. The rumors are starting to take effect. I thought Amira was going to give a press conference to warn the public. It didn't happen. She feared potential backlash if people knew about Reza while you were still here. He has been cleared a missing person. The public has been informed if someone sees him there to call the police immediately. Told he may be suffering from affliction that makes him behave erratically. You are putting two to two together. No one has seen Reza for a while, even before he was officially declared missing. It's easy to line up the timeline and see the murder started happening shortly after he vanished. What we know about the break-ins and theft is also beeping. The objects stolen all point towards Reza. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep this secret. How do you think the public will react, considering I'm still staying here? I don't know. We can't predict the public opinion, but you can bet there will still be critical voices. Sure, I could convince everyone I'm not involved with Reza's plans. You really do have the council support. If Emma voiced you on our side, it wouldn't be so bad if the public found out. Yes, but she made it clear that she believes most people won't have the same opinion, and that the vote is against me. That is true. Amira plays the political game a lot. She aligns with the popular opinion so people will like her. It is, but that's who she is. Know about the portal's current state? No, it can't be. If it can be fixed, it wouldn't be worth mentioning, and if they can't fix it, announce it before they know how to deal with the current situation. To Reza, it's not really a problem. Might be one soon if word gets out and I'm suddenly his accomplice. What would happen to me? Deal with Reza if you caught him. But sure, I suppose we'd have to work out something between our legal system and whatever humanity has to say on the matter. Before it's done, for what then? Going out of the picture for any legal proceedings. Reza would likely be held until contact has been re-established or just serve a sentence here. See, how do your jails work anyway? Well, the crime has been committed and proven without a doubt. A jail sentence can be the consequence. Live in an area separate from the rest of society, monitored at all hours of the day. The help they need and efforts are taken to make them realize their wrongdoings and integrate them back into our community. Isn't that much different than it is here? The spaces are more cramped for sure, but mostly it's just a very controlled environment. So much of a punishment. It is a consequence, not necessarily a punishment. Society at large believes more from people who can be rehabilitated, and if mental issues are the cause, those can be at least found and addressed. See how it used to be back home. Those days in our city, you get 3 strikes. What does that mean? 3 infraction of our rule, and you get thrown out of the city. If someone is a drain on our limited resources, we won't support them. Then why do you need to incorporate such a policy? The finality of it makes me uneasy. Works so far, and if it's not as if it's outside. The outside is completely unkind. Someone expelled from the city might find a different community or join one of the mobile groups. The situation inside our city-state is still much better than the outside, though they're very strict with who's allowed to live there. Okay, I want to see if his popped back up. No, it did not. Privilege, anyone or anything that threatens the inside society or the lives of people is removed very quickly. Will, like Reza, be dealt with an eye for an eye? No, we don't do that, but murder is a crime, so hate instead. Immediate expulsion is a consequence of prior infractions. I see. What do the citizens think about the system? This is some dope, but as long as it works, people won't complain. Weeding out undesirable elements is what keeps their standard of living intact. Does that mean politics don't play a big role where you came from? No, they won't change a working system. It varies here. I'm so tired of Amara and her games. As I work with her, I can see exactly how she plays the public. I know every councilman has her own approach, but everything she does is so tailored towards public expectations. Popularity contest. And you know what? That gives me an idea. Really, what is it? Human visit and all the associated consequences are her responsibility, right? Yes. For her, the situation with Reza must be utterly horrifying. Talking about presenting public backlash, but she's really just trying to protect herself. That sounds accurate. And use that to our advantage. How? She can't send me back to my world right now. That makes me the only one here with knowledge of Reza and humans in general. That's true. If I speak from this point of authority, we should have a much easier time convincing her of anything we want. Convince her to let you stay in our world, though. Yes, but I was trying to use reason and plead with her. I didn't take into account her fear of public backlash. Manipulate this fear of her, use it to our advantage. If there were consequences to fear from Reza, me, or the rest of humanity, those consequences would make her look bad, there would be reason for her to reconsider any action, right? But what situation could this apply to? She nearly sent me back to the portal. If she tries anything again, at least we have something we can use against her. I think I see where you're coming from. Reza's still a mystery to me, though. Things considered, wouldn't it be beneficial for him to just stay here? No offense, but even our prisons offer a better standard of living in your city. As such, couldn't that be a reason for him to have vandalized the portal? I think so. You're right. Your world is in much better shape than ours. If Reza could stay here, he wouldn't. He came here for the same reason I did, to help our people. With a very pronounced sense of duty to humanity, and I believed him when he stepped through the portal. when he stepped through the portal. He claimed that he would do everything he could. Then again, I was under the impression he wanted to get our mission over with as soon as possible so he could return to our world with aid. It would be difficult with the portal out of order. The person who did it probably didn't realize it wasn't a very good idea. This might make Reza even more desperate. Who knows what he will do next. If anything happens, I can't leave either. The portal is gone for good. I suppose you'd have to stay here. What do you think about that? It's a shame that wouldn't be so bad. I'd love living here. Let's go with that one. Here, everything I've heard about this place is so wonderful compared to back home. Good to hear. I certainly mind if you stuck around. Only now do I realize everything I told you earlier must seem so petty compared to the struggles you face. You're right. Don't say that. We all have our struggles. Let's go with that one. I suppose that's true. Can't even imagine what life must be like where you came from. Just trying to survive and help others do the same. That hasn't changed. I'm almost afraid of going back to the city, though. The times are so rough. Yet even if I didn't go back, I didn't have to go back, I would. I can't just let them... I have to try and do what I can. That's why I came here. I wish I could be that strong. Who says you can't? What does that matter? Says you can't. I don't know, you told me about your old job. I miss those days. What about it? It's not exactly the same as saving a city, but you were helping people, right? That's true. Maybe once your term with Amira is over, you could go do something like that again. I really wish I could. I asked you a question, of course. Do you even like me? There must be a reason why you've put up with me for this long. What are you talking about? Do you consider me a friend or maybe more? I like you as a friend. I like you as more of a friend. Don't look too much into our feelings. I like you as more than just a friend. Is that true? So in that case, well, the summer festival's coming. It's an event we hold in town every year. With fireworks and all kinds of shows. It might be fun for you to experience a different part of our culture. What do you say? Would you like to accompany me? I'd love to, but I can't promise I won't have other obligations at the time. I see. Well, I'll call you and see if I can work it out around our schedules. Sure thing. It is settled. I probably should get going now, though. Thanks for hearing me out, Dove. Likewise. And there we go. And I think that sets up his good end. Well, maybe not his good end. I don't know if I actually did what we need to set up his good ending or not. But we'll save there, and that'll be the end of this episode. We got Bryce's good ending. And we're going to get an ending for Remy. So we will see how this goes. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.